doesn't provide any output. Therefore, I will add a special instruction or a command to this program to display a message. So the standard output function in C is printf. This is the syntax of this printf statement. So in parentheses and in double quotations, I have to give the message. The message is hello world. Now what will happen is, when we run the program, it will display this message and terminate. So the only purpose of this small computer program is to display a message saying hello world. Right. Now our very first C program is complete. Now what we have to do is, we have to convert this C code into machine codes, or we have to compile it. So conversion of programming language code into machine codes is known as compilation. So before we run the program, we have to compile this program. So to do that, you can just click on this button or the F9 shortcut key, or you just can use the compile and run command or the F11. Then it will automatically compile and run. So for the moment, I will just press the compile button. So it will compile the program. So in this results area or the compile log, it says 0 warnings and 0 errors, which means in my program I don't have any defects or errors or mistakes. So if you are having at least one error, you are unable to run the program. So you must always make your count of errors 0. But there may be some warnings. Warnings are actually not mistakes or errors, but they may be introduce some errors later, or they can identify as possible errors, but it is not a error or a mistake yet, but it will introduce a mistake or an error later. So that's a warning. So if there are warnings, you can still run your program, but maybe it will generate or it will give some errors at the program runtime. But if you are aware about those situations, you can still run your program with warnings, but you can't run your program with errors. If errors are there, it will indicate errors and possible solutions. Let's say if I delete this semicolon and if I compile, now there's an error, but it can it can't exactly identify the point of the error. So it will just highlight the closest possibility, right? And in this error log, it says expected semicolon before return. So what we have to do is, we have to look at the look around the highlighted area or the highlighted line, and you can refer to the error log, then you can identify the error. So now in this case, the error is kind of introduced one, so we already know that we have to have a semicolon here. Then I have to compile it again. Right? Okay. Now I have 0 errors and 0 warnings. Now if I look at the desktop and my project folder, now I have seen a set of files. Now I have main.c file as we discussed earlier, and main.o or the object file, and the exe file. So these three files are the files that you should know. The make file basically contains the error log generated by the compiler. So in C file we have the C source code, and the object file is kind of intermediate file that include instructions from your program and the preprocessors or the headers. So in this program we have included two header files. Actually for a C program, this std IO header file is sufficient for a simple C program. This std lib is a supplementary one. So actually this is your program. So in your program you have only two instructions: to display a message and to terminate your program. But in these preprocessors or the header files, there are a lot of instructions to the computer, like how to display this message on your screen. So by combining both your commands and the library commands, this intermediate file, the object file, is created by the compiler, and that code is converted into the machine code or the executable file. So finally what we can execute is this hello world.exe. Now if you double click this, it will run and terminate. Therefore actually it will quickly run and terminate, as we haven't introduced any delays to our program. So we know our computers are very fast or very quick, so it will quickly execute the given instructions. So the first line, it will display the message, and after displaying the message, the instructions are given to terminate the program. So within those two lines, you are having just a fraction of a second. Therefore, if you execute the program, it will quickly execute and terminate, so you can't see any output basically. Therefore, we are not going to execute the program by double clicking the final output or the exe file. Instead, what we do is go to the IDE and give the command compile and run, or you, as we compiled our program, you can use the run command. So in this case, it is always better to use compile and run. So I will click. Now it is compiled, and now we can see the output. So the output screen is held by the IDE. Actually this is your output, hello world. All the other characters or the text is introduced by the IDE or the C double plus dev C double plus IDE. So this dotted line and all the other text are introduced by the IDE, and by the IDE your output screen is halt. So you can press a key, then your execution will terminate. Now we can clearly see as we instruct